when we look even at same sex relationships, there's certain things that you see, and typically there's one who takes the masculine and one takes the softer feminine side, and that's the predominant. Yes, there are relationships where there's two feminine women or two really, tough guys together, but the majority that we see, someone is taking the energetic position of the feminine and the masculine.
I think we're looking at it from an extreme viewpoint when a woman says she don't need a man, and we're trying to generalize it to try to paint it with the same paintbrush or whatever. I think whenever you ask an individual woman, and I guess you got to have the luxury to be able to do that, you might get a different perspective. And one of the perspectives, for example, could be the woman that's saying that she don't need a man. She may be saying that based on her individual lifestyle, that the things that a man brings into her life is not needed for her specifically. So there's really no right or wrong thing. She haven't discovered, or she haven't found it important to tap into what a man could bring in her life that would deem him necessary or needed. So I don't think it's extreme as men holding up the infrastructure. I think if you would ask her if that's necessary, she would say yes. But as far as somebody being in her household, laying in the same bed, bringing resources, she may have positioned herself in society where she could do it all. And that may be what she's speaking to, not the extreme thing is what we like to tap into as far as men in society withholding the infrastructure for the sake of the economy to continue to run, the roads to continue to be paved, the system to continue to flourish the way it does. I think if we scale back what we think these women mean when they say it, we'll find that they're talking about the things that you bring individually as a man into their life, and she don't find you a necessity. And I think if you start peeling back layers from there, she might be able to substantiate why she feel like she could do it on her own.
But Darwin, they do the same thing when they refer to our existence from a birth canal basis. It's literally pointing out how men, uphold the infrastructure. So I think to Chan's point, we need each other. But I think this conversation started on the end of women attacking the non-existence of men, or attacking their value in society. So men in return are saying, okay, well, this is why. Like, how is it that you can stand on the shoulders of other men and state that we're not important, all because you make enough money to sustain yourself? And to Naomi's point, you're an adult, so that's expected past the age of, I'm assuming, 25, like a real adult. Why are we even talking about this? It's foolish. Now land.
Okay, so that's a different perspective. But I guess we got to chalk it up to the conversations you had with them whenever they elaborate on it. I just never heard it elaborated to the point of where they say they don't even need you as a human, as a specimen, as part of the human race. I haven't seen the conversation get that far, but
9 times out of 10, when women are saying that, and when men's response is about, oh, women absolutely need men. They need men as protectors or whatever to obviously protect us from other men, but that says a lot about the society. However, the other thing is that when we reduce need just to the biological aspect, we overlook the value that both bring to the table. And I think a lot of times in these conversations, when men are saying, well, a woman needs a man doesn't necessarily need a woman, which true, you kind of lay that out, is just for the physical aspect. We say, oh, well, we've built the infrastructure, we did this, so it's your utility, the physical utility of you being a man, right? And so when we reduce it just to the biological aspect, well, in that case, a man for a woman is only needed for his biological utility as well. And I think that is the issue that we're having now, is that when we're comparing the utility of the person, we miss the value that they bring, because now it's just what can they provide, as opposed to the bigger issue is the development within the relationship itself. And we lack those skills. We lack the emotional intelligence. And a lot of times women do bring that to the table. But if that's not valued, then you don't see it as a necessity, right? So I think we have to look at what it is that is what we consider value outside of just the biological sense of it. Because if you, let's say, take the physicality of men, right, they're actually stronger, and get rid of that, then we're both left with the mental aspect. And the only difference between that is based on who does what they need to do to learn more, right? When you're just looking at the mental aspect, the only thing that I would say, if we reduce it to just looking at that, then we're on a level playing field when it comes to that.
Well, see, I think that's what I said moments ago. In the same vein, to your point, Ms. Taken, women drew first blood from a place of convenience. They attacked the function of the man. The function of the man is resources. The function of the man is also biological protection, provision. They drew first blood. So in the conversation in that vein, men are saying the same thing. If we look at your value, just like Hink said moments ago, he placed value on his woman. He placed value. Most men do this because when we're looking at you in the existence of life, women do not provide the same function that men do in almost no measure. That's why the conversations are happening. There's no function that a man can't facilitate for another man to progress things that are infrastructure based. So when a woman draws first blood and says, well, I don't need a man, what is she referring to? Typically, she's referring to the fact that her lifestyle is sustained without his existence, which is not true because some men exist in her lifestyle, even if it's not romantically. Where on the adverse, a man can say, I do not need a woman, and still facilitate almost every aspect of life that is measurable and that matters outside of relational, outside of intimacy.
So that has to be articulated whenever you're trying to guess. That's why it's required that you extend your line of questioning to figure out, pinpoint exactly why you feel like you don't need them. And if it is outside of relationships, and if it's strictly socioeconomically, then you speak to that. But like I said, and I think Ms. Taken put it perfectly, everybody that's having this conversation gonna run into a biological wall. We I don't think nobody's saying we don't need each other biologically. It don't even make sense to entertain that conversation. And if you having a conversation with somebody like that, that's just gonna insert that, is gonna be short-lived. You're just gonna go to the next topic because we know that's cap. But we all need each other. It's just we have to, I think it's an individual case-by-case basis. If we ask Ms. Taken why she feel like she don't need a man, she's probably going to articulate that the reason why she don't need him is because she's able to sustain herself socioeconomically. And the things that she would indeed need a man is for those things, bringing financial stability and protection. But if she lift enough weights, she's capable of being able to physically protect herself too. So one could argue that we position ourselves in a society as men, in a patriarchal society, to give women the technology and the capability to protect themselves the way we would otherwise do if we were in their life. They can go out and go to the weight room, get a membership, become bodybuilders, and lift just as much as men. Not as much as men, but close to it. But being able to sustain themselves and protect themselves and defend themselves, they can take up martial arts and all kind of stuff. So the question is, what besides infrastructure, what do a woman really need a man for? That's besides infrastructure and biological. They have an argument, and
they're emotional.
We don't have to dismiss
mentally.
it. Go ahead.
Mentally, most women are not logical. Mentally, most women are their hormones is all over the place. They will look at each other and they'll find a way to start fighting and argue about and lie to each other. There won't be no honesty amongst each other. They'll lie to each other. They'll convince each other, oh, girl, you beautiful. Girl, you fat, ugly, and nasty. And your breath stink. And y'all know it, but girl, he beautiful. But she got a beautiful personality. Bullshit. That ain't what a man looking for. He looking at you out of you, but you telling her she's beautiful. So you'll lie to her. You'll deceive her. Again, they rather hear a lie than live a lie than hear the truth. And so mentally, most of them need a man to calm them, to talk them off the ledge. Oh, hell yeah. There's a lot that they would need from a man, more than just the physical protection, their mental protection as well.
I want to go to Naomi, and then I want to go ahead and get into this clip and dive a little deeper with this discussion. So go ahead, Naomi, and then I'll go ahead and chime in and set the tone.
I think what we're negating is that the need of a man is the value of his essence and presence. Because Hink said something that was so crucial earlier today, and I don't think we really paid attention to it enough. Listen, and I know the women will know, if a man with a deep voice call you to check on you, say, hey, how you doing? And you know that that's what he's doing. It just gives you some type of butterflies. It'll make you tingle. And if y'all say no, then I know you're lying. Like, we can't sit here and pretend like that's not a thing. That is the essence and the presence of a man. That's the need that we can only get from a man. And he doesn't even have to be romantically involved with you. So I'll end there.
So then now you got to give us a scenario. If the essence and the presence of a man was absent, what would her life look like? So give us an example of that.
So okay. Now I'm gonna fine. I'll use myself as an example. So majority of people know that I'm a single woman, and so I have a male friend that calls and checks on me. Now me and him are not romantically involved, but it brings me comfort in order to know that he'll check on me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it just makes me feel good. There's a difference between a man if a woman is feeling some sort of way, it's different than when a woman who is receiving a hug from another woman. Mm-hmm. Is that embrace, being held by a man, especially if he's romantically involved with you, it just hits different and it brings us a different level of comfort. And if we don't let that be real and acknowledge its value, then that's how most when we first started this conversation.
Your argument is that the hugs are different.
Hold on. When we first started this conversation, one of the things that we talked about was the career woman. Most career women negate the fact that they need a man for comfort. Majority of them are lonely. Majority of them need their back blown out. And it is televised. It is talked about a lot of the time. And I don't mean to get super vulgar, but that's the truth of it. And it is something that it's joked about. It is something that's talked about. And then they minimize the need for the man. And it devalues men in general.
So your restriction, your logic is based off of heterosexual relationships.
Yes.
Okay. So if the woman was homosexual, then she would have an argument that it's not necessary for a man based off of the example you gave. Because the example you gave was you premised it as it being outside of a romantic relationship, then you brought it back in to substantiate the essence and presence. When the only difference was the hug. But if you were blindfolded and you were hugging a woman that was flat chested, you probably wouldn't even know whether you was hugging a man or a woman.
I can guarantee you I would know. Yeah. I'm 4'11". I guarantee you I would know.
Look, Naomi,
and not only that, this is
Bruce lives in Atlanta and he's promoting this homosexual lifestyle. I don't know why he's promoting that bullshit. It's okay. Who cares about
I don't think that's promoting. I think he's brought up.
That's irrelevant.
It's not even that.
That's characterization.
It's a matter of energetic balance.
That's what you promote.
It's a matter of energetic balance.
That is not what I promote.
Look at okay, we'll let him get his clarification in on that.
Go ahead, Kiana.
It's a matter of energy. It's a matter of energetic balance. When we look even at same-sex relationships, there's certain things that you see, and typically there's one who takes the masculine and one takes the softer feminine side, and that's the predominant. Yes, there are relationships where there's two feminine women or two really, tough guys together, but the majority that we see, someone is taking the energetic position of the feminine and the masculine. When that translates over to heterosexual relationships, you can even see a masculine woman with a soft man. So everything is about energetic balance. The majority we see is a softer woman and a more masculine man. So everything comes down to that energetic balance, and that cannot be denied, even though there are outliers.